Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my movie review for Netflix's new movie, Carter. It's one I've been looking forward to. I saw the trailer, was very excited for it. Wasn't sure what to expect, except I knew that it was a Korean movie and it looked violent and actiony. And I thought, you know what? I need an actiony film on Friday. But is it any good? Let's talk about it. Thrown straight into a dangerous mission with none of his memories intact, a man must escape death while trying to figure out who he is, how he ended up there, and who is the mysterious voice in his ear calling him Carter. Okay, I was trying to kind of do a crazy intro and I couldn't quite figure out how to represent this film. So instead of me doing a crazy intro, I'm kind of just going to show you something. That is a representation of a bath scene, not quite to the same idea, but you get the gist. This film started out amazing. I thought it was brutal, really fun. The action choreographed scenes were amazing. It reminded me of films like The Matrix. Then you take The Matrix and you mix it in with a bit of The Raid. And you add in a bit of Old Boy, you add in a bit of Ong Bak. You put that all together and the mix mash of what you have is kind of the beginning of this film. Unfortunately, as the film progresses, it becomes one of those films that doesn't quite know where it wants to stick its landing. What is the base of its unit? Like, how far are we willing to push this? And so we start off with I guess it's a premise that can be believable. You can believe that someone can be that skilled and outwit all the bad guys. But then as the film goes on, he starts defying gravity. And then they start doing gung fu. And then the gun clips never end. And then they start throwing helicopters and trucks at each other. And the defying gravity moments are exacerbated, and our main character seems to be stronger than John Wick and Thanos combined, and he will never die because he is Chuck Norris's son. It's that kind of disbelievability that for the rest of the film you're gonna have to put to a side. That's not to say I didn't enjoy it, because the action scenes and the choreography that you get within this film is something that I believe other Hollywood directors are going to be looking at, and they're going to be like, I want to use that scene, because there's action sequences in this film with action that I haven't seen before. And with the amount of films with hand-to-hand combat and violent scenes like The Raid or the John Wick films or the Matrix films that we've had a plethora, hundreds of by now, it's surprising to me that there's still stuff that we're like, wow, I can't remember if I've seen that before. From fighting sequences in a bathhouse, from truck to truck, the way the camera shows the action for the most part is really good. Now, there is a lot of drone usage here, so I can imagine that the ADR is pretty much the entire film where they had to go back into the studio and record all the audio, because the drone pilot, for one, it's just amazing. Probably one of the best drone pilots you're going to witness, because it takes us into the action. There's a bike sequences where we flow in and out of the action. It goes behind it and then it speeds it up and then it goes high for a wide. And so we get to see all these kind of shots, and it's not like it's quick editing, but it is almost quick editing. Sometimes they are just continuous shot, but the drone is moving so quickly in and out of the action that it's one steady continuous shot, but we're getting to see many angles, which is a really clever way to use drone. Now, occasionally you can totally see that it's gone from drone to handheld, and then obviously you're having to pass the camera from person to person to make it continuous, like going through a truck window and then going underneath a truck. Now, that all could be drone as well. I'm going on and on about drones, but it's just the way they use the action in conjunction with the camera shots or the drone shots was really creative. The problem is, this film tries to throw everything in the scene at once. So there's a lot going on, and sometimes you feel like it's too much. Pretty much halfway through the film, I think it was an hour in, I paused it and said, oh my gosh, there's still 51 minutes of this movie left. There was too much action for me, from someone that loves escapism, that loves balls to the wall, great explosions, Michael Bay-ness, martial art films, John Wick, I love that. I champion all of them. But it did seem like it was just too much. They went from being a raid movie to a Fast and Furious movie at the end, which was just crazy to me. It's not like we haven't had this action film before. We've seen films like the memory loss. Upgrade is one that we've had recently. Crank 1 and 2 with Jason Statham, memory loss, and then has a thing that he's got to do to either survive or protect the person that he wants to love. That we get in here. Memory loss, he wants to get his memory back, but he knows he needs to save someone to stop the world from dying. And there is this weird plot device at the background, a zombie sort of outbreak where people are going mad and they're much stronger, and he has to get this kid to one person so that the doctor can find a cure for the zombie sort of outbreak that is this Korean story that doesn't really have... It's not really necessary in the movie. It is a thing that kind of moves the action along from set piece to set piece, but I didn't feel like I needed to concentrate on that part of the story. I was more interested in the guy getting his memory back and protecting the ones that he cares for, and that is shown through conversations, not necessarily with him, but a conversation in his head and other people. So you get little tidbits of background story, and I think that's enough for this type of movie. This was never going to be an Oscar movie where people are, giving dramatizations of really deep emotional philosophical stuff. That's not this movie. This is just action, set piece from set piece from set piece, and you're kind of trying to guess. Well, I was like, I wonder what they're going to do next, because each crazy set piece that we go to is heightened. It literally is just mental at the end of the film. You're like, when is this going to stop? This is too much. My brain is going to explode now. So it is a lot of fun, but you're totally going to have to switch your brain off in believability, because there's so much nonsense in this film that you're just going to be laughing. By the end, I was laughing and going, come on, that's not going to happen ever. Even in the Fast and Furious, they try and keep some of it realistic. So when they do the crazy, you're like, okay, that car's jumping buildings now. How is that car doing that? In this, I was just like, why is that helicopter flying upside down? I know helicopters can, but it's very few helicopters, and they have to do certain movements to be able to do that. It cannot just fly upside down. There are moments like that in this film. I'm just going, what is happening? So I started off on a solid 5 Nicolas Cages, because we have this amazing bath scene that I just thought was fantastic. Probably the best scene in the whole movie, and it just goes crazier and more unbelievable as we go along, and I just wanted the film to end, which is not something you want from an action movie like this. Very enjoyable, but it's weird the route they went. I also think they want this to be a franchise, because the way it ends is probably really going to piss you off. It did me. I was like, seriously? Come on. So let me know your thoughts down below. I'm going to give this 3.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5. Still a really fun one-time watch, but I can think of other stories that work well better, that's frenetic and non-stop. The action is pretty much non-stop, but if you want to see something that has a better storyline and works better, go and watch a John Wick film. Go and watch Ong Bak. If you haven't even heard about that, definitely plug that one in. Go and watch the Raid films, the two probably of the best martial art films with hand-to-hand combat. That's brutal. A lot of people say to me, I've never seen that. I keep meaning to see it. Watch it. Chris from Movies and Munchies, watch them. What is your favorite martial art action film that is really brutal? I'm talking really gory like this one. Let me know your thoughts. But for now, here's another 2 movie reviews you can watch. Most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.